Welcome to the Nomadic Spaces podcast, where we talk all things interior design, tiny houses, and happy homes. Each week, we explore different interior design strategies, the unique challenges of small spaces, and accessible design solutions to help you create a more beautiful and happier home. Whether you're a fellow tiny house dweller or simply have an interest in interior design, this show has something for you. Hi folks, your host Sarah here. I am a professional interior designer and I run my own business, Suka Interior Design, where I transform spaces all over the country. I'm also a realtor here in Asheville, North Carolina, where I live with my pup Elvis in a vintage travel trailer that I renovated into my tiny dream home. Thank you so much for being here. If you like what you hear, please consider leaving a review, hitting some stars, subscribing, and sharing this show. It's how little shows like this survive. All right, let's get into today's episode. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Nomadic Spaces podcast. Today's episode is continuing our conversation about the impacts of professional interior design. And today's episode is titled How Professional Interior Design Turns Houses into Homes. I hope everyone has experienced this, but there's something truly magical about stepping into a space that feels uniquely, unmistakably your style. And maybe if it's not your own home, you've had this experience over at a friend's house or at an Airbnb or hotel. But imagine a space like that. It doesn't just function, it really holds you and soothes you and inspires you. That's the power of good interior design. It's the difference between living in a house and truly feeling at home. And as an interior designer, I've had the privilege of helping clients rediscover the joy and comfort that comes with a well-designed space. Over the years, I've witnessed how thoughtful design choices can breathe new life into a home and a new spark into people's lives, bring families closer, igniting passions, and honestly, I've even seen people, heal some old wounds making transformations like this. This episode isn't just about color palettes or furniture arrangements. It's really about creating the true heart and soul of home, and what that means uniquely for each of us. So today I'm going to talk about a few of my past clients and talk a little bit about their process of creating their dream home. The first thing I want to talk about is the emotional connection between space and well-being. The reason I want to talk about this is because it's so important, because it's essential. It's at the heart of why our homes really matter so much. Our environments shape how we feel, how we think, how we interact. You've probably heard me talk about this before if you've been listening to me for a little while, but a cluttered, mismatched space leads to a cluttered, mismatched mind. It will leave us feeling stressed out or disconnected, while a thoughtfully designed home can really foster creativity and relaxation and happiness and can strengthen relationships. So think about your own home. Does it reflect who you are today, or is it sort of stuck in a chapter of life that you've outgrown? Does it bring you peace? Or do you feel like it's kind of like a never-ending to-do list? Kind of assess where you're at in your home. It's one of those things that until we stop to think about it, we might not realize that we've kind of outgrown where our home is at. As we talk about some of the experiences of my past clients, keep what you are thinking about with your own home in mind, and think about if there's some places, some opportunities where something could be updated, or maybe a room we could move furniture around. It doesn't always have to be buying something new or doing some massive project. It can be something that we're already working with what is in the space. So when I met my first client, we'll call Lynn, she had just gone through a major life change. She had just lost her husband. And her home, which obviously was once a welcoming space, it was now feeling really heavy for her and just kind of weighed down with a lot of obviously memories, and she felt like a lot of clutter. She wanted to have that feeling again where she comes home and it feels like her home, and obviously it still feels like their home. And that's something that she felt like, she was at a point where she was ready. She had outgrown that. She didn't really know where to start or what she should keep or let go of. There was emotion and trauma tied up in a lot of the things. We worked through a slow process, and together we started by just decluttering and only keeping the items that she found truly meaningful or used often or brought her joy or were very sentimental to her. In the living room, we replaced, there were some dark heavier furniture from apropos for the time it was purchased. But anyway, we updated that with some more lighter color, more inviting pieces. We added a lot of soft blues and greens. So when I did my check-in, which I do after a few months after our projects are complete, she told me that it, quote unquote, finally feels like my home again. I feel like I can breathe and grow here. And that is just so poetic and such a beautiful piece of feedback from somebody. And it's moments like that where I feel like totally fulfilled in my work and just so happy that we're able to achieve our design goal, but also the impact that achieving that goal has in transforming someone's life.
Hi friends, I hope you are enjoying this show. Listening to podcasts and reading blogs like this is a great way to gain knowledge. But to really make change, you need to take action. Luckily, taking action doesn't have to be overwhelming, timely, or expensive. My Desk Refresh Guide is a great resource you can download totally free from the link in the show notes. This guide will break down the redesign process into simple, actionable steps with tangible results to transform your space without spending a cent. Now let's get back to the episode.
My next story is about a couple. This is probably going to resonate with a lot of you, sound familiar. This is such a common problem. I have worked with a lot of folks in this position, but it's a young couple and their home just was not working for their busy lives. They had 3 kids under 10 at the time, and the living room especially, it was an open kind of living space, just felt so chaotic and cramped and cluttered. Everybody in the family was kind of competing for space, and their house had just become a source of frustration for them and dread rather than comforting. So one of their holdups was they were working with a very small budget and they really weren't sure what options they would have. So we reimagined how their home could serve their needs. The cluttered playroom was transformed into a multifunctional family space, complete with hidden storage and banquettes for the toys. We added a cozy corner with a little tent and string lights where there could be movie nights, and we added a designated table for arts and crafts. And then in the kitchen, we added a breakfast nook where the family could gather for meals and do homework. We completed that with fresh decor and updated the lighting. We even were able to go in and touch the primary suite where we created a more calm and restful space by replacing the furniture that was just kind of too big for the space and was dark and heavy. So we replaced that, and we replaced new bedding and again updated the lighting and decor. When I checked in with them about a month after we had finished our project, they told me that they felt like this had had a bigger impact than years of marriage counseling. Just said that the family was such a much more functional space. They weren't all on top of each other and were able to just kind of enjoy each other because they weren't feeling resentful or encroached upon. So again, these types of results are why I love my job so much. It's not just transforming a space and making it beautiful. It's really making life in that space so much more enjoyable. And we all deserve that. So now let's talk about the ingredients of how to make a true home feel like home. It's not just about aesthetics, it's really about creating a space that reflects your unique personality and supports your unique lifestyle. So it's important that you understand what your lifestyle needs and aesthetic desires are before we start. Once you have an idea of that, here are some of the key elements I like to focus on when I am designing homes. First, personalization. Every client is unique, and their home should be too. Whether it's incorporating favorite color, or maybe we're showcasing some kind of collection, or we're designing maybe a room around an activity, personal touches are what makes a space feel special. Number 2 is functionality. A beautiful home is useless if it doesn't work for your needs. I take the time to understand how my clients live, where they eat, how they cook, how they relax, how they entertain, how they work, and I like to design spaces that enhance their daily routines. Number 3 is comfort. Above all, a home should feel comfortable. So this really means choosing the right textures, the right lighting, and layouts to create inviting atmospheres that fit that the use of that space. Some ideas are plush rugs, maybe for an office, ergonomic furniture. These details do matter. Number 4 is connection. Good design fosters connection, whether it's between family members or friends, or even between the resident and the space itself. I aim to create environments where people naturally gather and bond together. Now let's talk about why you would want to work with a professional interior designer. Designing a home is a deeply personal process, and it can be overwhelming to tackle on your own. A professional designer brings expertise, creativity, and an outside experienced perspective to help you see possibilities and options that you might not have otherwise considered. Here's how I can help. 1. Understand your needs. I take the time to get to know you and your lifestyle, ensuring every design decision actually serves your goals. Number 2, maximizing your budget. From sourcing materials to prioritizing updates, I help you make the most of your investment. Number 3, I streamline the process. I handle all the details. I manage the timelines, I coordinate with the contractors, I coordinate the deliveries, and I'm ensuring that everything is coming together seamlessly and on time. 4, delivering results. My ultimate goal is to create a home that feels like the perfect reflection of you within the desired timeline and budget, and achieving the end results that are desired. Every home tells a story. It's where you laugh, cry, celebrate, grow. It's maybe where you start a family. It's where your life unfolds. So when your home feels aligned with who you are, it becomes more than just a place. It's really a part of you, and it can support you. And if your current space isn't bringing you joy and support, it might be time to consider a redesign. And that can mean a lot of different things, whether it's a complete transformation or maybe just a few thoughtful updates. Professional design can help you turn your house into a home that you love. Interior design is about so much more than just aesthetics. It's about creating spaces that nurture and inspire and reflect the people who are living in them. I hope through the stories I've shared, you've been able to see the transformative power of good design. If you are ready to rediscover the joy of your own space, I would love to help. You can reach out to me on Instagram at Sukha Interior Design. That is SUKKHA Interior Design. Or you can use the link in the show notes to connect with me directly. As always, thank you so much for being here and for listening to another episode. And until next week, home happy. I hope today's episode was helpful and inspiring. My goal with this show is to help others make change that transforms their space and achieve their design goals. But just absorbing content, even brilliant content like this, doesn't get results. Taking action does. If you're still listening, you might be ready to fully accomplish your design goals. My challenge to you is to commit to taking one action right now before you don't. Taking action might look like booking a design project jumpstart, or maybe it's downloading the desk refresh guide, or just signing up for my mailing list. Maybe it's scheduling a complimentary connection call with me to talk more about your design goals in detail. You can find out more about all of these fun things I just mentioned and contact me directly through my website, which is sukhainteriordesign.com. That is SUKKHAINTERIORDESIGN.com. I love to connect, so please don't be a stranger. As always, thanks for being here and being a part of this community. If you liked what you heard, please take a second to review, subscribe, and share with your friends and family. It's truly the easiest way to support me and this podcast. Until next week, take care and home happy.